Looks like we're working to me. Whew. Oh, man. I'll tell you what. I ain't ever buying a buffalo chicken sandwich from a military mess hall ever again. Because I have been violently ill for the last 2 days. So it's been fun. Like, extremely ill. Like, I almost went to the hospital ill. So, good times. Good times. First off, good times. Second off, I really wanted to play. I was really super looking forward to it all week. Playing some. Oh, with the wiggle. Why with the wiggle? No wiggle there. Playing some Varrotwood. Really wanted to play some more Varrotwood, but just not on the cards. I didn't manage to get the second team done. I got a couple of the guys done. These are the dog worshippers from Warcry. I got a couple of them done. These minis are really freaking cool. I got a couple of them done. I reposed their chain weapons a little, so they're a little more like all over the place. Because normally they're kind of just like a straight line. But I thought this looked cooler. So I got a couple of them done, but like these ones, they still need some love. So the big dog guy, the two like bigger meat cleaver people, and the super big boss guy, they still need some love. But yeah, I also got my first bolt action mini painted. There he is. Put him up on Instagram. I'm pretty happy with that. And I have to say that painting like historical thing was really fun. So I'm super looking forward to finishing him. And then I think after I finish up this German team, who are all coming along, I think I'm going to paint up some Americans to go with them. I think that would be pretty cool. And then I put together the half track that has the like artillery cannon on it. Slapped it on a 40mm base because I don't really care about lengthwise base coverage. What I care about is it being the same height as the miniature, so that the vehicles don't feel too small, right? Like that feels a lot better to me. That feels a lot better to me than that does. Like, the vehicle feels more appropriately scaled. I know it's only a little difference, but it fucking triggers the shit out of me. So, so he's on a 40mm. Fits, nice, perfect. This guy here is on a 65. So, fits his wheel well. About the same. Right, so you still get the height of the base without having like a ton of overhang and stuff, which is pretty fun. I really, really, really enjoyed painting this tank. Really fun. All right. So anyway, that's where that is. So work on these blood guys here for Varrotwood. I could put another team together, but I thought like a murder team would be really fun. I was just looking forward to playing it. Varrotwood did get me to finish all of my meat trees. So these still need to be top coated, but I got all the meat trees painted up. I have to say, this set of terrain, really fantastic. GW knocked it out of the park with this set of terrain. And you can see I bent up all the fingers so they look kind of more wild. I just did that with a heat gun, just hit them for 5 seconds on each hand, and then rearranged the fingers. Because I think it makes the trees look way better. They look cool anyway, but they look like actual trees more when you rebend the fingers a little bit. But yeah, they're super cool. I absolutely love the meat trees. I was genuinely really disappointed in the new Warcry box because it doesn't have new meat trees. The meat trees you get in that box are just these two. And it's like, I already have these. I don't want more of these. So, yeah, I was really disappointed to see that there's no new terrain in that box. Like, you get a Realm Shaper engine, that's cool. And monetarily, probably a good thing. But, like, if I'm going to be super real, I'm probably never going to play my Seraphon in Age of Sigmar, so I just don't need a Realm Shaper engine. So, like, it just doesn't interest me. I do like the rules for the two teams in that box. I think they both have really neat rules. Because the Stormcast Eternals I was really disappointed in visually. But their rules are really cool. Because they're basically a team of, like, all commanders, which is really neat. So that's pretty cool. So, like, they all get all these crazy special abilities and stuff. So each guy can do, like, all kinds of shit. Which is really cool, and I think is going to make them OP as fuck. But yeah, then we got some of the dinosaur kangaroo kit bashes. Started working on painting on them. And I started working painting on my space shrimp. There he is. I put the tail in a different place because it just looks better this way. He's really cool. And put together one of the flying vehicles and put it on a much better base so it doesn't tip over. And then I bent it to the side a little because I thought that looked cooler. This guy's not glued in, so I can paint him separately. But this thing was really fun to build. It had like a ton of cool options, like chains and different ramming parts. And the one that comes in the because you get two of these in one box. You can build them both. I think this one is intended to be the like troop transport version, and I think there's another build for it that is a like a turret fire support version, which I think is pretty dope. And then the rest of my kangaroo kit bashes for my Drukhari. Still super happy with them. I'm so happy to finally be doing something with these kangaroo models. I love these kangaroo creatures. And I do not want to play Lumineth. So I will happily play them in Drukhari. Let me rephrase that. I'll happily play Drukhari because of them. But yeah, I fucking love these things. And the guy hanging on the side there. Too cool. Also, yeah. My interest in Drukhari, to be honest, is almost entirely from boarding actions. And like, so these are gonna count as bikes for one-page rules for boarding actions. This is my bike leader. Here she is. And then last one. It's got a dude hanging off there, or I guess a lady hanging off. A person with breasts, because it's hard to tell what other generals I have in this. They're all like unisex, which is actually really neat. Man, I got some chains, got some different riders and stuff. Really, really fun little kit bashes. And I'm enjoying painting those up. The thing I am the closest to finishing right now, though, is this Mamma Jamma. So, this is vashtorr. But probably not as you've seen him. This is not the official vashtorr. This is the one from Station Forge. So I got most of my base colors in on him. So he's going to get some washes today, and then we're going to work on the base. I think that's my plan for today. So I have to say, Station Forge is amazing. I love them. For $10, you get just an insane amount of stuff. Like, this is from Station Forge. And I freaking love this thing. Like, it is... This thing is like a god tier model. It's a Kellion, it's the taller knight, the bigger knights, but like a chaos version. Oh, it's so good. And then I added the tanks and stuff, so you can see all that. So it's all magnetized. I added all the tanks and stuff because I wanted it for the flamethrower. But like, Station Forge, holy fucking shit, are they amazing! I love them. And you get so many models every month for like $10. Like, I think this guy was in the same month as that knight, I swear, or he was the month after. But you get like so many models. You get like, it's ridiculous. Like and I gave him some nuts because that's what I do. But yeah, so good. One complaint I do have about this model is that some of the blades are very thin, so I'm afraid of snapping them. Also, I had a couple print errors in the wings. You can see them. I think that's on me though. You can see it here. I don't think that's Station Forge's fault. I think that's on me. To be honest, one of the really cool ideas I had since I built him and started painting him was actually maybe ripping these wings off and doing like Doc Ock tentacles. I think that would be really fucking cool. So I think Vashtorr here, I think his wings might be short for this world, but we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so what do we gotta do first? Well, I'm gonna do a couple parts of him in washes first, and then we're going to let those dry, do other parts, and then kind of go around like that. I really wanted to play a game today, but like I said, I have been violently ill all weekend. Since like, whoop, shaking everything in my bellies. But yeah, I've been like violently ill all weekend long. So, itchy. So, just to be honest, I don't want to start playing like a one-page rules game and then I have to run to the bathroom. Like, I actually had to end the stream because of that before. And yours a wiggly day. Stop, Laura. I don't want to do that, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to just keep on keeping on. And I didn't get my Vertwood stuff finished, so yeah. Alright. So I've been using this umber ink from Vallejo. It's really good. It's not ink, it's a umber wash. It's really nice. I like it a lot. It stains less than Agrax Earthshade, but it is also a little more annoying to put on because it's not in the nice big bottle. But yeah, you get kind of like a grayish brown out of it. It's pretty cool. I think Agrax Earthshade definitely still has its place in some areas, but I do really like this. So I'm just going to slap it all over his face. That sounded inappropriate. Or completely correct. We're going to do that. Slap it all over there. So he has all these tubes on him, and I wanted to like carry those colors out, so I put a couple of them in as the hair, but I didn't want to make all of the hair that color. And I think it looks pretty cool, and I think it carries those colors up higher into the model, which is pretty important. Otherwise, they'd just kind of be orphaned and marooned. I was really surprised the wings didn't have any cables in them. I really assumed they kind of would, because like that would have drug that color up there really nicely, but yeah, I guess not something they wanted to do. So the reason I'm doing his face first is because I want to do more work on the horns, but I'm just gonna zoom in a little, huh? But this wash needs to dry before I do that, so yeah, just slapping it everywhere. Slapping it everywhere. Slapping it everywhere. I feel like this one runs a little less than Agrax Archade, so I feel like it pulls a little less. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, I've been trying it out. I got that recommendation for this wash from Sonic Sledgehammer. He's a YouTuber that paints a lot of like historical stuff. Really cool guy. To be honest, he's probably like one of my favorite YouTubers right now, to be honest. Not only because I've been doing a lot of historical stuff, but just because, I don't know, his videos are interesting. I feel like I actually learn stuff from them, which is not something I can say very often. Like lots of times I like, you know, I watch YouTube videos to have like noise on in the background or something. I don't watch it because I actually like am going to learn something, right? You know, like my YouTube, right? Like I stream because I enjoy it, and you know, it would be nice to get to a point where I can make a tiny bit of money off of it. I'm not there, obviously, but you know, it would be nice. But like, you know, I stream because I want to like share things, right? Like, I really enjoy making stuff, and I really enjoy sharing stuff. So I stream because I want to do that, right? Like I don't really want to like teach people, you know, stuff. Sometimes I do with games and stuff, right? Like I'm like, okay, we're gonna learn this game together, right? But really, it's like, you know, you get to hang out with me while I learn it as well, right? Like it's that like Christmas morning kind of new box of toys kind of thing, a lot more than like, here's an exact instructions of how to play this game, you know. And that's not what I'm about. Much more like, hey, let's be friends, person on the internet, you know, and let's you know, like learn this thing together, you know. So I'm just going to do a couple areas on this wash, and then we'll start probably working on the base. Speaking of people on the internet, I used to love a dude named Luke Fellows. He was a YouTuber who made a ton of like terrain videos and stuff, and like, if you want to talk about someone that I feel like I actually really learned shit from, it was Luke Fellows. He started a game company making like terrain materials for like basing cover and stuff, which is really cool, and I would happily pick some up, but they're not sold anywhere out here on island. But yeah, he started this like basing company, which is really cool. But apparently he's giving up content creation and gonna go like work out in the world. Which, I mean, that's cool, right? Like, you know, it's always like, I feel like content creation is, because oftentimes you have to be a one-person show, you know, of creator and producer and, you know, manager and all that stuff. I feel like lots of times because you have to be this one person show, like it can be pretty taxing, right? So like if this was your full-time job, and you just decided you really hated one part of that, like you cannot stand editing, like you're gonna have a bad time. You know, and it would be very easy to burn out. And just be like, I'm tired of the YouTube algorithm and all the politics and all that stuff, right? Like, so I don't begrudge him for leaving, but I will say so yeah, that wash is pretty damn good, isn't it? I really like that. But I will say, the YouTube world will be lesser without him. So I do feel like I learned a lot from his videos, and a lot of times. And he was actually probably one of my favorite YouTubers. He's been doing this like play your games in small scale thing, which I thought was really cool. He started doing that about the same time I made my like Battletech city, because I have like a whole Battletech city. I've shown it off on the channel a couple times. I've even made parts of it on the channel a couple of times. But like every time I go out to play Alpha Strike, like I bring a city with me, like literally, and it fills up an entire mat. And I'm gonna be super honest, it's dope AF. There's a ton of photos of it up on my Instagram. And I'm like super proud of that, right? And like he started his kick for short things around the time when I started to build that. But even that, like he definitely influenced me being able to build that. Like him and Wylock's Armory and stuff like that definitely influenced that. Like Black Magic Craft, all those kind of like crafter kind of people, they all like 100% influence that. So it's a real shame to see Luke Fellows leaving, because he was a cool guy. I remember in one of his videos someone chastised him for not wearing a mask when he spray paints something. And he pulled his shirt up, and he's like, he showed off his like insulin pump thing that he has, and he was like, mate, the fumes from this are not what's gonna kill me. And it was just such a like real moment. I was like, yeah, you a real one. That's legit. I legitimately think that was probably the video that made me really like him. I was like, yeah. He also used to do this like top coat thing where he would spray his models with liquid PVA glue, which is white glue or like Elmer's glue, which I always thought was interesting. I don't know how it worked, but I thought it was really interesting as a way to like top coat them because it's clear. And it would be very durable. In my brain, it would probably yellow after a while, but I always thought it was interesting. I remember him doing that in some of his early videos. Because doing that for terrain, like 100% makes sense. Because the terrain needs to be super mega durable. And it helps hold down things like flock and all. You're probably like, why are you putting wash on the black? You're never going to see it. You actually slightly are. It is going to slightly change the tone of the black. 'Cause this black isn't actually pure black. It's like almost black. It's heavy charcoal from Vallejo. This is my favorite black color. I actually don't know if they still even make this color. So I legitimately might have to find a alternate for it at some point in the future. I've heard Necromancer Cloak is pretty good. From Army Painter. But yeah, so we're just gonna do a couple areas and then man, I can feel my guts rumbling, I tell you what. They are rumbling. Yeah, in my work we have this mess hall. Food is not very good quality. I have been violently ill all weekend. Like yeah. Like, I don't want to describe it on the channel level ill. It has not been pleasant. It has not been pleasant in any regard. And, yeah, it's been super gross. So, that's been my weekend. I wanted to get down to Honolulu this weekend. So one of the local stores out here, a store called Armchair Adventure, is having a sale on Warhammer stuff. I don't really need anything, but like it would have been nice to go and look around, see what they got, you know. I was debating picking up a couple of those kill team boxes just because I want the teams out of them, and then maybe trying to resell the terrain because I really don't want the terrain. Maybe if I could get myself the one with like the police and the Drukhari, and the one with the really cool beastmen, you know, and then maybe resell the terrain for like $50-$60. Because I think they're like $180, and I think each team would be like $60 separately. So if I could resell the terrain, in theory, I could get a decent sale with the sale price. I don't know. Also, the Judge Dredd guys just came out separately, so I could just pick them up separately. They do look like really fun models. I'm gonna pick those up. They're like the RBTs or whatever. I mean, they literally just look like Judge Dredd, like just straight up. I've been reading the 2080 Judge Dredd comics every night before I go to bed. I've been reading a couple of them. There's like a pack of like hundreds of them, fucking up on Amazon for like $10, and you get like 400 pages of Judge Dredd comics, and I'm like, okay, that seems like a good deal. And they're like the original like black and white ones, so they're kind of dumb and cheesy, but I don't know, there's something neat about them too, because you can also see the like, you can like see the character coming to life, right? Where he starts from like, I'm the cop for America, to I am the law, you know, like you can like actually see it like forming, right? Like the artists were probably figuring it out like at the same time, like, you know, and that's kind of cool, and that's kind of neat to see. I like how I said we were only going to do a couple parts in the wash, and then I proceeded to like literally hit everything with the wash. So we might as well finish the wash now. Sorry, my brain was just kind of on autopilot there. It's just kind of zoning out, thinking of different topics. Guts are rumbling though. We'll keep going as long as we can. Ugh, excuse me. Ugh. Oh my god, you are really wiggly today, aren't you? Come on, bro. Fix your shit, bro. I don't know why she's so wiggly today. Really, I should probably paint with the other camera. This one does nicer like close-up detail shots, but the other camera does a like fixed view of a location. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and let me get the rest of this wash on, and then we'll go ahead and play around with that. Let me use up the wash that I got out of my out of the palette, and then we'll go ahead and we'll play around with the cameras for a minute. I know this is probably like riveting stream, right? Like, let me hang out with fat guy that has no personality and just talks about fucking toys all the time. I would say, believe me, people think I'm interesting and cool, but they don't. They really don't. I'm considered like a subject matter expert in like a ludicrous number of topics, but like nobody thinks I'm cool. Let's be real. And I mean, you know, fair. Let's be fair, right? Like, I ain't fucking. I'm sitting here painting toys, right? I sculpted balls on this model. Come on, I'm pretty fucking lame. Let's be real. All right, let's play around with the other camera real quick. I think that probably would be a better one for painting. And I know you can't see it, but off to the right here, there's a place that's right in front of my 3D printer, where like a lot of my like streaming stuff is set up. So like my stream deck's there, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'll be honest, that's probably gonna be better. Oh man, yeah. Sorry for weekly camera, just playing around with it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Oh. Yeah, honestly, that's probably going to be better. Let's see. Let's see if it's better. You are going to get a bunch of beard in the beard cam, though. I apologize for that. Alright. Alright, well, we're going to fucking finish the washes now, because fuck it. And then we'll start working on the base. So, this Station Forge model actually comes with a really big, like, themed base. Where he has this, like, metal topper, and he's, like, got, like, all these tentacles coming out of the ground and stuff. And it's a cool base thing. I don't really like printing base toppers. I don't know why. Because they're cool, and I really should use them. I have a lot of really nice STLs for themed bases that I could just print and use. But I don't know. There's something about, like, printing bases and resin that I'm just, like, not a fan of. And I don't know why. I think it's maybe they warp a lot. Like, I do print a lot of bases, like this one here. You can see I printed. Oh, it's focusing on my beard. How's that? Is that better? You gonna focus on the thing? Let's try picking the camera up a little bit. Maybe that way we won't get the beard in hand extravaganza. Yeah, alright, we'll try that out. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Oh, it's focusing on the other hand. Interesting. Okay. My hand gets in the way of the painting. That's interesting, isn't it? We'll think about that for a minute. I'm just gonna use up the rest of this wash. Since I have it out, I might as well use it. But yeah, he comes with a really big, cool base topper. I don't know why I don't like base toppers. I think I'm just going to mark it up to the fact that I'm bad at life. Base toppers are super cool, and the one he comes with is really nice. But I don't know. I'm not a base topper fan. So, yeah. So what I decided to do was, I don't know. I get like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like vibe from this guy. So I thought it'd be kind of funny if I gave him like an ooze base where like ooze was pouring out of these things. Interesting. This camera has a little bit of trouble with motion too, huh? Why are you focusing on all the wrong things? This doesn't matter. Don't focus on that. Do you think that's a face, maybe? Interesting. I'll play with the camera to figure it out. Okay, so, yeah, so I don't know. Vashtorr gives me this weird, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibe. So I thought it'd be kind of funny if he was, like around a bunch of, like, the ooze, you know? And I also, coincidentally, happened to get this really nice green paint right there. So, I figured I would. This is Vallejo Scorpy Green. And it's just really nice, like vibrant bright green. I started using it on my Drukhari. And we were super honest. I'm kind of like trying to find excuses to use it other places too, because it's really nice. So I cut one of the barrels in half. Put his foot up on one of the others. It's about the right height. It's not exact. And then I filled this barrel with hot glue. And I was actually going to hot glue this like on video today, but I didn't have enough power sockets. So I had to my choice was unplug my lights and hot glue, or have the lights and not hot glue. So I was like, okay, I'll hot glue before. But yeah, this guy gives me like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibe, so thought it'd be funny for him to have some ooze. But yeah, it's going to take a couple coats because there's no tooth on the hot glue. So tooth is basically like what your glue will actually, what your paint will actually stick to. And there is no tooth on hot glue because it's like completely, well, it's hot. So that means that all the texture basically like merges itself out. So you can see that the paint's not really sticking to it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true. That's probably true. I just figured we'd try the other camera just for the fun of it. Because, like, I got that camera a new stand, but I got it, like, for playing the games, right? Because I play games on the same table, so I wanted that camera to be able to have a better view and stuff. But I figured we'd give it a shot. Because this camera, it does like this, like, it's really intended to not do auto-focusing in and out like this. It's meant to, like, just focus on one thing. So if I did have, like, a completely, like, black painting space, it would do a million times better, I'm sure. But because there's multiple things for it to, like, pay attention to and all, I think it gets confused. So yeah, I think you're 100% spot on there. Alright. So I don't want this green to just be in the barrel, right? Because then we'll have a really strong orphaned color, and I don't want that. So we're going to put it in a couple other spots. Thank you. I'm going to put it in a couple other spots. So there are these like little tank things here in his gas mask that I thought would be fun and green. Try to tie that color back into the face a little maybe, because it is very bright. I could have also just made the eyes green, but I don't know. I liked the heterochromia-ness of chaos. Alright, same reason why like a bunch of the details and stuff and the wires and stuff, I didn't paint those uniformly. Right? Like one color might be one color on one side and different color on the other. I feel like that fits chaos a little better. Like conceptually. And yeah, I want to do this green color after the wash. Might still hit it with some kind of contrast paint, but I didn't want the brown wash to be on it. Just to tie it in a little bit. I think I'm also going to paint part of the hammer in the green. So the hammer's got these like gemstones that I think I want to do in the green too. That way it'll be like bing, bang, boom. There'll be some... The color will like... Yeah. It does love focusing on anything in the background really well. Come on, bro. You're killing me. You're killing me. See, this camera here, the like close-up zoomy one, this one's on a bendy arm, so I can like move it around during the battle reports. But the problem is that I'm a fat ass. Hello, RS Blunden. Yeah, I'm a fat ass with a really big belly. So when I zoom in to put my elbows on the table so I can steady my hands because I'm shaky AF, what ends up happening is my belly hits the table, and then as I breathe and talk and do everything, this happens. Because it's on this bendy arm for battle reports. So if I could find a better bendy arm, that would be awesome. But this one I think is actually like a cell phone arm, but it's what I got. So, but yeah, I want to get some of this more. I want to tie the green around a little bit more. So I'll put it up here in the hammer too. I'm trying not to paint over where the wash is pooled, because I do want it to look dirty and kind of like the, you know, but I don't want the wash to change the color on the green. So I do really, really, really like this green. I will also say he had this really big, oh god, we're not even, you can't even see it. He had this really big stick, like staff, but I trimmed it down because I liked him having a hammer, because he's supposed to be about creation, right? Not about like combat or anything. So it's a really cool mode. Model? I bet you mean model. Yeah, this is a super cool model. This is the, I don't remember what they call it. It's made by Station Forge. It's their vashtorr proxy. I really like him. I really like the concept of vashtorr, like him being this chaos god basically of like creation. But when I saw that his model was $100, and he's really fucking tiny, he's like, basically this tall. I think he's actually a little bit shorter than this, a little bit smaller than this. I was like, I can't do that. That's unacceptable. But I really liked the concept of vashtorr, so I wanted a model for him. And then right when I was like being annoyed that he was so fucking expensive, Station Forge was like, hey, we have this really cool looking vashtorr. And I was like, oh, Station Forge, I love you. I'm happy I apply to you or subscribe to you every week. Like, real talk, if you want really good STLs, the two companies out there, One Page Rules and Station Forge, man. You will not find nicer STLs anywhere. And just like quantity of STL. Like, you get so many models from both those companies, that's ridiculous. Like, every month you'll just get like tons and tons and tons of stuff. So yeah, they're really, really fantastic. I do hope my husband finishes up in the bathroom soon, though, because I might have to be running in there. Okay, moving on with the rest of the base. So my chaos guys are on like textured. Let me grab one and I'll show you. Alright, so this is one of my first. It's probably dusty AF. Yeah, it is. So one of my first chaos guys, right? So, oh. I was holding up to the wrong camera. I'm pretty new with Station Forge do. They sell STLs. They're an STL maker. So every month they put out like dozens and dozens and dozens of STLs. And you can use them as proxies for basically anything. So, for example, like vashtorr here, or we'll use the big camera for this guy. This guy here is the thing I usually pull out when I start talking about Station Forge. So this is my Chaos Knight proxy for the tall knights. I don't remember what they're called, like Kellyan or something, I think. So this is my Chaos Knight proxy. And then I did a couple things, like I added some wires and stuff, magnetized those, because I made it so the arms are swappable, so he can swap arms. Of course he gets stuck. So if I don't want him to have the flamethrower, I can swap it to something else. Magnets, gift. But yeah, so this is what Station Forge does. They basically make STLs for proxies, and they're pretty dope. Obviously, anytime you talk about 3D printing, yeah, 3D printing stuff. But anytime you talk about 3D printing, you can't use it in a tournament unless the TO is okay with it. But they're really good. Their models are really good. I've never had any failures from them. Really good stuff. I like the Station Forge model so much more because he looks like he's doing something rather than just kind of sitting there like the GW1 does. Yeah, the GW1's kind of like walking forward. I think he's supposed to look menacing, but at least this way, he's like, yeah, and I like that. The full model also has like a base where there's like tentacles coming up, which is pretty cool. So he's like calling the tentacles out of the ground. I'm never a big fan of base toppers. I don't know why. They're good. They're quality stuff. I just am not a big base topper fan. So I have to rebase basically my whole Chaos Space Marine army. These guys had some really cheap 3D printed, like, these are FDM printed base toppers. Maybe this is why I don't like base toppers. And they're kind of crappy, to be honest. But I want to repaint them. I'd like to get them more looking like this, where they're kind of like the blue metal, right? And then there's like some dirt and like stuff. Because some of these models come with like dirt and stuff on them already. So I'd kind of like that to carry on, right? So like this is one of the Chaos Warp whatevers. I don't remember these. Possessed, it's the word. He comes like standing on a rock, so I kind of like the idea that there's like some like rubble and dirt and filth. So I kind of want to get all of them based up like that, but you know, it's okay. All right, so I think I already got some paint out. Yeah, I did. Okay, so we have to base coat this base first, and then we'll go around and we'll do some dirt and stuff after that. But yeah, this guy, really cool freaking model, man. They just did a, what are those Imperial Guard Walkers called? God, what are they called? Sentinel. They just did a Sentinel. That is like amazingly cool. And comes with options to make an open one, a closed one, or like a construction one. And it's like, oh, it's like God tier. Also, all their stuff for like the AdMech is really good. Do you like using contrast paints? Yeah, I do like contrast paints. They're really good. I tend to paint in base coats with like regular acrylic paint. And then I tend to use contrast paints essentially as washes a lot of the times. I like them. I think they give really nice variation in tone, which I think is important. I think it's one of the things that makes models look nice. They give really nice variation in tone for very little effort. But yeah, I tend to paint all my base coats in, and then tend to do washes on top of that. Not washes. What is the word? Contrast paints. Contrast paints. Yeah. On top of that. Also, contrast paints are really good for weathering and stuff. Skeleton Horde is particularly good for that. Because it makes everything kind of like yellow and crappy looking. So like if you want it to look like junk is like pooling somewhere, you can smash some Skeleton Horde there. It looks really good. In a minute, after I get done doing this really basic base coat that's not covering very well at all, we're gonna use a tiny bit of contrast paint when I paint in some of the horns. And we might actually put some, I'm going to see what contrast paint I have. We might actually put some contrast paint on the goo too. Yeah. This base is going to suck up paint, so it's going to take a couple coats to get it to be metallic colored. It's okay. I can work on that over a couple of times. Alright. Let me actually jump up and grab a paint. I'll be right back. I'm going to see what green contrast I got too. That's neat. We'll use that. Okay. Where is... Oh, is it down there? Did it fall down? Yes, it did. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, shake all these bros up. Shake, 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 shaky. They have Triceratops tanks right now. Oh, and Station Force? Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna print a big orc mech next, like a Mega Dread. I think that's what I'm printing next. But right now, ready to get cured. I've got some werewolves for Conflict 47. I've got some bits for an Arminger. So I got a big sword here. I've got like a waist extender. That one had a printing error in it. I have a lictor. And then I've got some like sexy cowgirls. Like chaos cow ladies. That I thought would be kind of cool. I would mix in with my chaos worshipping people. They're pretty cool. I don't know if you can see that. They might be too close to get into the camera, but they're pretty dope. I like them a lot. So yeah. I'm just getting started, and there's so many techniques. It's hard to understand how to start. So I mean, I'm gonna say this. A slap chop is an amazing way to get started painting. If you just Google and Fantasy Cult. Okay. I'll check them out. Triceratops tank sounds cool as AF. Yeah, if you Google slap chop from, I think it's The Honest Wargamer, it's like a 3-minute video, and it will give you a really nice, like, initially basic way to start painting. And you'll get really nice looking models out of it using contrast paints. It's really good stuff. I would highly recommend it. I don't like painting with just contrast personally. I like to use like here's Skeleton Horde, right? And I'm using it to block in these horns a little bit to basically make a gradient in the horns. Because I want the horns to go from really dark to really to lighter further in. Real animal horns tend to work the opposite way, where the edges tend to be dark. I'm sorry, where the inside tends to be dark, and the outsides tend to be light. But if you do it the opposite way, the lighterness pulls your eye into the model. Yeah, Slop Chop, Pete the Wargamer, he has a really nice video. It's like 3 minutes long. It's funny. It gives you a really nice method. He is basically doing a method called zenithal highlighting, but that method sounds a lot more intimidating than slap chop. So the basic idea is that you use white and black to apply your highlights to the model, and then you put contrast over it, and it stands out and looks really nice. Alright, let's try some of this green. This is Poxwalker, which is a shade I don't think I've ever actually used before. Yep, first time opening it. Let's try it out, see what it does. It looks pretty cool. Let's see. Ooh, it's dark. It's really dark. Yeah, that's pretty cool though, to be honest. That is not what I would call a shade, that's for sure. I would call that contrast paint. It is a lot thicker than a shade. I like that though. That's a cool thing. Yeah, I like that color a lot. Pull some out of the middle. Yeah. Yeah, that's dope. Dig that. Yeah, that's sweet. I like that a lot. And it's going to add some nice gross variation down here. So my idea for this base is that we're going to have this barrel that's like split open and spilling shit everywhere. Like spilling this ooze everywhere. And then we'll have a little bit of like dirt and grime and stuff mixed around the base. But the really fun thing for this base should be after I top coat it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and hit the liquid here with Mod Podge. Gloss Mod Podge. And it should add this really cool, like, kind of liquidy, runny texture to it. It's really neat. I want to get into 40K box that's coming out. So some Tyranids. Gotta head to work, but this has been great to listen to while I do some work done. Cheers, dude. Nice, thank you. Thank you, that means a lot. I'm happy you enjoyed it. Yeah, the new box is awesome. Let me grab some Tyranids, hold on. They're not from the new box, but I'm gonna grab some. Oh. So my favorite thing with Tyranids is that the Tyranids is the range that has probably the most consistent style in all of GW, at least in my opinion. It from inception has had this really very obvious, clear style to it. So it means that all the parts are really interchangeable. So like this is my kit bashed Trigon Prime. Just because, you know, you can mix and match the parts really easy and make some really cool stuff. Mine are all supposed to be like water based and kind of painted like great white sharks. Really fun stuff with kit bashing. So like this is a Carnifex plus a gun from a Turvagon. And this is a claw from the Haruspecs. And then these, I think, are from the different models. I think this little tiny arm, I think, is from the guy with the wings. I don't know, the Swarmlord guy. And then I think that's an arm from the things. So you can do some really fun conversions with Tyranids. You can see this guy's wigging. That's because he's actually magnetized at the waist. And in retrospect, I don't actually know why I magnetized him, but I did. It's fun. But yeah, I love Tyranids. They are one of my favorite factions. Like, definitely. Alright, so let's see what we got. We got a little bit of gradient there. Let's go ahead and let's make that better. So I got Cygor Brown. This is another contrast. This is a super dark black. Or super dark brown. But I'm going to pop this on the horns. The very tips of the horns. And the horns are going to go from super dark brown to like a lighter brown to the like tan color. But yeah, if you want to get into 40k, that's cool. The new box is going to be really good. If you were interested in another war game you could use those models with, I would tell you to look at one-page rules. I do a lot of battle reports for one-page rules because I really like the system. Yeah, I have no idea how the rules are going to be. I very rarely play proper 40k. I primarily play other games like one-page rules and stuff like that. So, quote-unquote proper 40 tips here. So they have same thing down here in these. I don't really care that much. I don't think it would add that much to the model, to be honest. But he should have some pretty fun-looking horns now. And gotta work on the base some more. Gotta get some base coats down. I have to put washes on these barrels. But it should look nice and goopy and gross at the end, which will be pretty fun. And then I might do a little bit of tiny detail work. Anywhere you see like a split here, I might go in with I might go in with Gilliman flesh and like hit the edges so it looks a little gross. Let's see how that's gonna look. Actually, let's see how that's gonna look. This is Gilliman flesh. This is another contrast. And if I go in and like, Gilliman flesh is a little bit red, so it might make this look a little bit like a wound, which I think is kind of neat. It might also not be strong enough of a color to color over Rakarth flesh. So we'll see how it looks when it dries. But I am still sick in the gutty works, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. And then I will catch you guys in a little bit. Yeah, because I will be definitely back streaming next week. It should be good. And I'll put up the finished photos of this guy on Instagram after he's been top coated and all that nonsense. But yeah, I gotta call it. My guts are bubbling. I'm gonna have to run. But thank you guys for watching me paint vashtorr and talk about all my hobby stuff. Hopefully next week I'll be able to get to play a game. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for watching, and keep on keeping on.